So, welcome to Squeenie Central. I had a busy weekend. And, alright, I'll be right in. And I'm about to run inside so my daughter can do my hair. But real quick, I wanted to say a couple things. I had my son, my oldest, was out here with some of his roommates from college, and they dug up the potatoes that were in here. Weren't as many, like half a bucket. I mean, it was a good amount. Remember I had dug up most of them with my friend Eileen several weeks ago. Then my friend D2 was also here. She's a home gardener getting started in her own rights. And we, talked about all my little butternut squashes and the watermelon and cantaloupe. And we were looking over here at the newly started vegetable squashes and discovered some stupid squash vine borers. What did we do? We did not freak out. Okay, I freaked out a little bit. But they were on these plants. You can kind of see the holes. I took a random leaf, rubbed the eggs onto the other leaf, dropped the other leaf in some soap and water. Because they're so small, I didn't want to, I couldn't just pop the leaf off and throw it in because there would hardly have been any leaves left, especially on that one plant. But right now, it looks like everything is okay from that, and I've just been coming out and double checking every day to make sure we don't have any more stragglers. There probably will be some stragglers in a week or so, but I just have to make sure I get out here and get those off. Something interesting was that they were not on the vegetable squash. It's a different variety. It's called it's just called the what's it called? It's just called the spaghetti squash. Where this one over here is called the vegetable spaghetti squash. They are two different varieties. And even when the squash vine borers took over, they didn't hit that plant till last. And there was none on that plant just now, or the other day. So that was a cool sign. We also tried to stand up and cut back a bunch of my plants. There's a lot. I haven't gotten my tomatoes of the day yet. I'll come out there and get them probably tonight when I get back from beach volleyball. But tried to make sure all of the tomatoes are standing to give the peppers their room again. And we discovered that, well, what she told me, I should say, because she does a lot of pepper growing, was that because of the weather change, and now it's in the 80s instead of the hundreds and 90s, these peppers should hopefully take off in the next week or so. And that'll be exciting. And tomatoes will keep doing their thing. And I need to come out and spray the powdery mildew spray. It's getting some of these guys a lot. And these new ones didn't have any on them either, but again, I just keep coming out and checking. The watermelon is traveling. I'm going to let it grow in the ground. I don't think it liked being trellised at all, because it they're dying. But now it added a leg, I don't know what you call it, and it's growing this way. So we'll see. Cut back, pulled out. Part of this had a squash vine borer in it, pulled it out, threw it in the water over there. We'll see if that roots. So I don't think this has a squash vine borer, but we're just going to keep an eye on it and cut it back out of this again for that powdery mildew, which is going to just keep coming. I just need to do the preventative. So we did a lot of fun stuff. Hooked up my tomato plants, fixed the ones that had fallen over. Discussed how I'm no longer going to plant San Marzanos next year. Started another batch of sauce. Looked up these raspberries. I really need to keep investigating how the raspberries are going to grow. Found a couple cucamelons way over there. There's none that are ripe to eat, really. We tasted some that were really not ready, but it's vining up to here along with, that's a cucamelon right there, along with the tomatillo plant, which is just taking over. So replanting the garden for next year as I see how it's growing this year. I'd never seen tomatillo plants grow that wild. I don't know if it's because on the farm that I would get them from, they would prune them back a lot. So I did not expect them to get that big. First eggplant right there. Did not bake my basil tea because my mother-in-law came over this weekend and brought us a bunch of Halo Farms juice. These are the chickpeas. These guys right here. Chickpeas, chickpeas. So we'll have some chickpeas, hopefully, in the fall. And I'm gonna amend the soil some and plant some fall crops in there soon.